There's a man in your doorway. You didn't put him there. He's tall, taller than the frame, which shouldn't be possible, and yet here we are. He's wearing a hat, a wide-brimmed hat, the kind you'd see in an old photograph of someone you don't know. He's wearing a long coat. He's not moving. He's not doing anything, technically. He's just standing there, in the dark, at the edge of the room, and he is looking directly at you. You can't see his face. You know he doesn't have one. You don't know how you know that. You just do. You want to scream. Your mouth is open. Nothing is coming out. Now. Let's rewind about 4 hours. To you in a bathroom, counting pills out of a pink box, because the internet told you this was a thing people were doing. T equals 0. You swallowed 15 Benadryl tablets, not over a week, not spaced out thoughtfully with a glass of water and a snack. 15. Tonight. In one sitting. The same pills your dad takes in May when the tree pollen makes him unbearable to be around. You took 15 of them, washed them down, and waited to feel something. You're about to feel something. Now, the drug in Benadryl was invented to treat allergies. That's it. That's the whole job. Someone in the 1940s noticed it could block the chemical signal that makes your nose run and your eyes itch, and they put it in a pill. And for 80 years it has been sitting in medicine cabinets next to the Band-Aids, completely minding its business. Your dad takes one, and he's asleep by 9 o'clock. You took 15. The difference between a dose and a disaster is not always as large as people assume. This gap, right here, is one of the smaller ones. Now the drug gets into your blood fast. Within the first hour, it's already crossing into your brain, which it is very much not supposed to do in large quantities. The brain runs on a system of chemical messengers, and one of them, acetylcholine, is involved in just about everything. Memory, attention, the ability to tell what's real. The drug in Benadryl blocks acetylcholine, like someone sitting on a fire alarm. At a normal dose, this makes you drowsy. At 15 times that, it starts unplugging things. Your brain is now receiving less information than it needs to run properly, and it is doing what brains do when that happens. It's making things up. This is not metaphorical. Your brain is constructing imagery right now, wholesale, from nothing, and presenting it to you as real. This is not a dream. You are awake. Your eyes are open. The things you are seeing exist in the same visual field as your actual furniture, your actual ceiling fan, your actual doorway. Your actual doorway, where the man is now still standing. Now here's the part that I want you to understand, because this is the part that got to me when I was researching this. I find most of what I cover genuinely funny. This one is mostly funny. But this part, specifically, is not. The Hat Man is not a local legend. He is not a story someone made up and spread around online. He is a thing that thousands of people have reported independently across decades without knowing about each other, while experiencing exactly what you are experiencing right now. Same hat, same coat, same doorway. People who have never met, in different cities, different countries, different decades, they describe the same figure. The wide brim, the long coat, standing. Watching, not speaking. They don't describe a similar figure. They describe the same one. Reddit threads full of strangers all going, "Wait, you saw him too? He was in my doorway too? He just stood there? He didn't have a face." I don't have an explanation for that. Nobody does, really. The most sensible explanation is that certain brain states produce certain imagery, that the visual system has failure modes, and that a tall, dark figure in a doorway is a deep-wired threat signal that the brain reaches for when it starts generating hallucinations from scratch. That's probably it. That's the rational read. And yet, same hat. Every time. From someone who had no idea anyone else had seen this. Same hat. Subscribe so I can keep looking into things that should not be looked into at 2 in the morning. Now, while you're dealing with whatever is happening in that doorway, the rest of your body is also having a terrible time, and I'd hate for it to feel left out. Your mouth is completely dry, not thirsty dry, parchment dry. Your saliva glands have been blocked by the same mechanism shutting down your brain's messengers, and they have simply stopped working. Your skin is hot and flushed and dry, because your sweat glands got the same memo. You are not sweating. You cannot cool yourself. Your internal temperature is climbing, and your body's primary tool for managing that is offline. Your pupils are so dilated right now that you look like a cartoon character who just saw something shocking. Light is probably hurting. Everything close up is blurry. This is your eye muscles being blocked from adjusting. They're stuck wide open, frozen, receiving everything at full brightness with no ability to focus. Now your bladder is confused. The muscle that normally handles things down there operates on the same signaling pathway that's now been suppressed, and it has decided for the time being to do nothing. If you needed to go before you took the pills, that need has not been resolved. It has simply been postponed in the most uncomfortable way possible. Your heart is where it starts to get serious. The drug in Benadryl, at this quantity, interferes with the electrical system that keeps your heart beating in the right rhythm. Your heart is not a pump that just squeezes. It's a pump that squeezes in a very specific timed sequence, controlled by electrical signals traveling through the muscle in a precise pattern. Disrupt that pattern and the chambers stop coordinating. The heart can start beating too fast or irregularly, or both. An irregular heartbeat is your heart doing improv when it should be playing sheet music. Most of the time, improv jazz is fine. In a cardiac context, improv jazz can kill you. People have died from this. Not a lot of people, but enough that it's not a hypothetical. Now back to you, on the floor of your room, or on your bed, or wherever you ended up, because you are almost certainly not standing up right now. Your legs don't work the way they should. Your thoughts are arriving in the wrong order. You tried to say something out loud a few minutes ago, and what came out made no sense to you the moment it left your mouth. You are hot, dry, blurry-eyed, bladder full, and your heart is doing something that could generously be described as creative. And the man is still in the doorway. Now, this is the part where some people call for help, and some people don't. And which category you fall into matters enormously. If you get to an emergency room, there is an antidote. It works. It directly reverses the mechanism that got you here. It's an injection. It's fast. And within a short time, you can start telling your brain to stop generating uninvited guests in wide-brimmed hats. The outcome for most people who get treatment is fine. Eventually, after a hospital stay and a conversation you will not enjoy having. If you don't call, if you ride it out, alone, on the floor, for the next 8 to 12 hours while your heart does whatever it decides to do, then the range of outcomes gets wider. And some of what's on that range is not fine. Now, the hallucinations will eventually stop. The drug clears. Your brain comes back online. The doorway will be empty again, and you will stand there looking at it knowing with total clarity that something was there, that you saw him, that he was wearing a hat. And then you'll go on the internet, because that's what people do, and you'll type in what you saw, and you'll find a thread, and the thread will have responses from people describing the same figure. And some of those posts will be years old, and some will be from countries you've never visited, and they'll all say, tall, hat, coat, doorway, no face, just watching. And you'll close the laptop and not know what to do with that. You'll probably be fine. Most people are, but you will not forget him. The scariest thing in your medicine cabinet wasn't on the label. Thanks for sitting with this one. I mean that. This was the one that genuinely kept me up after I was done with it, and I appreciate you being here for it. Subscribe so I'm not the only person thinking about the Hat Man tonight.